Hello. Here's another video by me on indices. Indices is another name for powers or exponents. And I'm going through the index rules. Index is another way of saying indices. What are index rules? Just to give you a very brief introduction, it's to do with stuff you can do with powers. So if you've got a negative power, which is what this video is about, what does it do? Well, first of all, I'm going to start by doing negative powers to fractions because it makes most sense doing it with fractions first, and then we'll do it with a more simple situation like just plain numbers, negative power to a plain number. That'll be example 2 after example 1. Anyway, let's just do the algebraic side of this example. If you got a fraction to the power minus x, and remember a negative power can't go without a number itself. You can't say something to the power minus, that's it. It has to be something to the power minus 5 or 3 or minus 2, whatever. Yeah, you have to have a number there. Minus can't go without a number. Sounds a bit so basic, we have to explain that, I suppose. So a over b to the power minus x. The minus bit of the power simply turns a fraction upside down. So a over b becomes b over a. So that's why I had to start with using fractions. Okay, minus powers to fractions. Applied to fractions, I should say. So anyway, so you got b over a, and the minus bit of the power disappears over here because it's done its job. You don't want the minus power to stay there, otherwise it would turn it upside down again, perpetually, forever. Okay, anyway, so now you've got b over a to the power x. X is just a number, and that power x to this fraction means that power has to be done to both the top and the bottom. You can see there's a bracket around here that makes it clear that this power is done to the whole of the fraction, not just the top bit of the fraction. So if there was no bracket here, this power would be done just to the top bit of the fraction. Anyway, so this example is actually covering two things: what happens with negative powers and what happens when you do a power of a fraction. And what happens to a power of a fraction? You simply do that power to both the top and the bottom. So you do b to the power x, as you can see there, and a to the power x, as you can see there. Let's show you a example with just numbers rather than lots of algebra. Nice and simple example. 3 over 5 to the power minus 2. Well, the minus, as you just heard, simply turns a fraction upside down. So 3 over 5 becomes 5 over 3. And the minus is gone because it's done its job now. It's turned this fraction upside down. But you're left with a number, and the number has to do its job now. So this number has to do its job to both the top and the bottom of the fraction. So you do 5 to the power 2, which is 25, and 3 to the power 2, which is 9. And that's the answer. Now let's go to our second example, where we've got 4 to the power minus 3. Before we had a fraction to the power some negative number. Now we've got 4, a plain whole number to the power minus 3 in this case. Okay, so what do you do? Well, we turn that 4 into a 4 over 1. Why? Because the whole point of negative powers is to turn fractions upside down, and if 4 is not a fraction, what do you do? Well, we turn into a fraction. Okay, so how do you know 4 is equal to 4 over 1? Well, any whole number is equal to itself over 1. So, for example, if instead of 4 we had 100, it would be 100 over 1. If you had, I don't know, yeah, any whole number is equal to itself over 1. Okay, so yeah, so that becomes that, and then I think after that it's a bit obvious what happens. The 4 over 1, the minus bit does its job to it, so it becomes 1 over 4. The 3 is still there, it has to do its job, so 1 to the power 3 is 1, 4 to the power 3, well, 4 to the power 3 equals 64, so this becomes 1 over 64. Now there is something else that's important to say, and that is you can go straight from 4 to the power minus 3 to 1 over 4 to the power 3. If I had, say, 5 to the power minus 3, it would become 1 over 5 to the power 3. Should I zoom out a tiny bit just to make that really easy to follow? Okay, so if that was 5 to the power minus 2, that would become 1 over 5 to the power 2. I hope you can see the pattern is very simple from here to there. You just simply go 1 over this thing without the negative bit. Yeah,